ready to race. I mean, I've got to at least admire their honesty. Are you ready to race? I suppose. Right there. Are you ready to race? You've got kids, I'm guessing not. Idles around the 2000 mark. And does not feel happy about doing so. But yeah. I feel like KTMs are only happy when your wrist is about that angle. Hey, hello. Like that. Nearly missed my go then. Tell you what I love about driving. I like sticking stuff in kilometres an hour because I like to do maths whilst I ride. Is that 30? I don't know. I can't do the maths quick enough. Wait, what's 30? 45, 48, and go! Hello, Ali Pally. I'm doing that going on today. What's the dealio? Right, we need to take pictures, don't we?
Hello again! How are you doing? Good, glad to hear it. Now, yesterday I went on the KTM 390 Duke, new for 2017. Of course, the KTM 390 has been out for a while. This is just the revised model for this year. Now, as I say, I very recently I recently rode the BMW G310R. And I came on it. What can I say? I actually have a review of that if you want to check it out, of course. I will also have a direct comparison between the KTM and the BMW. And I think that is prudent because it would appear BMW have gone straight for KTM as far as their corner of the market. But for this video alone, I would like to just talk about the KTM so that I don't muddy the waters too much. Now, first and foremost, let's get the facts and stats out of the way. It is a single cylinder motor, it is 4 valve per cylinder, it is water cooled, it is relatively light, it has an alleged 43 brake horsepower and 27 foot-pounds of torque.
Do I believe them? Yeah, actually, I do. Let's just start her up again. And what does it sound like? Makes that peak horsepower, around there, 9,000. Peak torque, there at 7,000.
For the ergonomics, it is 830 millimeters tall. It is really quite a tall bike, especially for the engine size. It comes across as that sort of supermoto style. They have improved the suspension since last time. Although having said that, it is non-adjustable on the front, it is just adjustable for preload on the back. So again, functional, nothing too fancy for suspension.
I haven't ridden the old KTM 390 Duke, so I don't actually know how improved it is. I do know that it's non-adjustable. Da-da-da. And it is inverted. We have a rear shock, adjustable only for preload.
The brakes are responsive. It has one disc on the front, it's 320 millimeters in size. It has a 4-piston Brembo. It's a cheap Brembo. On the back, it has a 230 millimeter disc and a 1-piston caliper. Again, perfectly fine for the size and the weight of the vehicle. The hell was that noise? There's an alleged top speed of 104 miles per hour. That is more than enough to lose your license. Good, cheers to that. It has a capacity for fuel of 13.4 litres. It has got a very accurate fuel gauge on there, so don't worry too much about the reserve. It will let you know when you need to fill up. The tank range is an alleged, again, 206.5. Yeah, 0.5, we'll just call it 206. Really, we should round up. 207. No, it's fuel, isn't it? You'd run out before. 206. It's not too bad. It is frugal. It is, of course, quite a small engine. It is ride-by-wire, so it should be relatively efficient. And it is Euro 4, so All of these things should make it quite a modern, efficient engine. I don't know why all manufacturers don't just give you a curb weight. It's silly to do the dry weight, but they don't do it on the KTM. They give it as a dry weight, which is silly. But the actual curb weight, people have tested, and they've found it's around 160 kilograms. So it's pretty much the same weight. It's competitive for the same sort of class. Having said that, it is slightly heavier than the older KTM 390. It also has a slightly bigger fuel tank than the old one.
LED lights, new revised looks. For the front there we have this. Do you like it? How do you like it? How do you like it? These are adjustable now apparently, which they weren't on the last incarnation and weren't on the BMW. We have this display and we have buttons here. It's like a video game.
And just in case you're wondering, in case you want to buy one, it's £4,599. Of course, why wouldn't you round it up? Call it 4,006. At the moment in the UK on websites, on their website in fact.
Why no one has changed this from kilometres? I don't know. Right, let's change that. Clock date. Units. Oh, cheers mate, thank you.
That's right.
Thank you. There you go, that's what you get compliments.
Give me compliments. I said give me compliments. Bitte schnell.
I left them there to stay out of my shot. But thanks for bringing them over, buddy. Now let's go and enjoy this a little bit more before it starts to rain horribly and I can't. So, do you know what, it's quite tall. 830mm is not a short bike, especially for this size of engine. But you can still get both your feet down, I suppose. As with them all around this sort of size, they're quite stubby, very short wheelbase, which means that you can run people over, handle things quite nicely, especially for a city, for a town. Obviously the idea is that it nips around quite easily, and it does. Now it is a little off-putting, it's taller than the BMW which I went on very recently, and the BMW I felt quite in control of going around corners. This one less so, it drops in quite readily because obviously it's quite tall, so you do feel like you are dropping further. So they have all this fancy ABS, don't lock up your brakes, it'll save you. They've got a slipper clutch so that you don't lock up your brakes when you're mashing down gears, if you want to mash down gears. But they have got a setting on this little TFT colour gamepad in front of you which says turn off ABS on back because I want to lock it up. So they are sending out mixed messages. Don't lock the back, but do lock the back. That's really better stuff. Because otherwise I'll confuse people. I don't much enjoy confusing people. Such a good turning circle, that's ridiculous. It really is. Jugger, 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 jugger. Beautiful view though, right? London down there. You can just about make out the shot. All I want to do is take a photo here. That's all I'm looking for. And all I'm looking for is neutral. Nah. Fucking hell, man.
Now then, is the KTM aimed at me? No. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, it's alright. It is high performance, proven by the fact that they've gone right up to that power band. They've seen it, they saw that as a competition, they went, right, oh sorry, how much horsepower can we have? Brill, so we'll just aim for that. Oh no, we don't want to be second best. Like that. We're going to go straight for the top tier. So they have. For the engine, it's a torquey little thing. It is also a little bit lumpy, I have to say. Only because when it started up, and obviously it was cold when it started, It wasn't really smooth when it was in second and third gear, just plodding through town 30 miles an hour. When it's cold, it will actually flash up with a little red light on that screen as well, just to tell you, oh, I'm cold, maybe not right now. Give me a few minutes to warm up. Between 7 and 9,000 is where it's supposed to be the happy fun time, and it is, because that's where it makes its peak torque, and it makes peak horsepower. And you can feel a very clear spike when you go, yep, 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 woo! All the way up, 7 to 9. The ergonomics, as I say, it's quite a tall vehicle. So for 830 millimeters on a bike that small, it feels quite tall. To the point where you literally just feel like your feet are dangling off there. You feel like you're moving forward. Even when you're riding, your feet feel quite straight. So if you are a little bit longer in leg, you might appreciate that actually. But it does mean that when you are leaning it over into a corner, because it is quite tall, it feels like you're going down to the floor. It feels like you're going from 830 all the way down. In all honesty, I would say the instrument cluster, not so much the cluster as the display, for me was a little bit cluttered. There's a lot going on there, there's a lot of different settings to the menu. I would argue possibly too many things. As I say, you can go into the settings and even to the point where you can turn off the ABS on the back wheel so that you can lock it up and skid. Now that should probably tell you about the type of market this is appealing to. It should also tell you something that when you start it up, it comes up with a message saying ready to race. Ready to race. Actually no, I was just popping down the shops, but all right, yeah, I suppose we can try and do a PB today. Oh, 2 minutes. You know, that really does define it. It is ready to race. So really, it comes down to this. If you've just passed your test and you are looking for your first starter bike, especially if you're in the UK and you only have an A2 license, which restricts you as to the power of the vehicle that you can ride, but you want to go as fast as you possibly can, this is the bike for you. If you are only interested in speed and about getting places quickly, thrashing about, it's bright orange and it comes from Austria. Now, if you want to see how the KTM stacks up against the BMW, I have a review of that coming soon. There's a direct comparison between the two. If you'd just like to see what the BMW is like as a bike, then of course I have a review of that as well. So please click on those links, they will be in the description, and you can check out a few different options if you are looking for a starter bike. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be with you next time very shortly. Ta-da!
And stop. I found neutral. Fucking hell. Oh, for the first time, the last half an hour, I actually managed to find neutral. That is glorious. That was amazing. Good. Tatty bye. Back to you in the studio. By studio, I mean kitchen with a coffee. Bye.
It's a bit shit, innit? I haven't even done the washing. Yeah.